Hey guys, it's Patton Kesselring and welcome back to the channel. Gonna be a bit different on this one as it's time for another rant video. This time it's sort of dancing around the issue of fan service in anime, which I'll probably have to do a separate video on, but I'm talking about a specific anime in this one. So, yeah. Though, I suspect most anime fans really don't give a shit. I, for one, think that a show can have way too much fan service, but I'm not going to go into all that right now. Like I said, I'll do that in a separate video. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the rampant and actually pretty creepy fan service in the series of Strike Witches. But don't worry, anime fans, I will eventually talk about High School DxD. Now, I should preface that I am actually a fan of the series. I think the coming-of-age story it tells for Yoshika Miyafuji is excellent, and she's one of those characters that you just want to hug and protect. Not in a creepy way, people. Being wholesome here. I do have an issue with the series when it comes to the fan service. Not because it's there, but because there's no explanation for it. Specifically, the lack of wearing pants around the base. Well, I have a problem with other things about it than that, but that's kind of the main thing. The other thing I should mention here is that unlike shows like High School DxD, where there's a very clear sexual connotation, there's not really one here. I mean, yeah, sort of, surely, but not really. I mean, there's not any, like, incredibly sexualized thing. It's just a lot of unnecessary fan service of, like, gratuitous panty shots. Which is very creepy, which I'll touch on in a minute, but this is not a, like, hentai thing. This is very much a coming-of-age story with a lot of gratuitous panty shots for some reason. So, and I'm going to be pretty okay in talking about this because it's on Amazon Prime, so I don't think we have to worry about any problems from that. Considering it's on places like Amazon Prime, I think we're going to be, and Funimation, I think we're going to be okay on that. But just in case anyone's worried, not a sexual thing, just a lot of fan service. And I guess you could argue that maybe that's a sexual thing in itself, but again, this is not like porn we're talking about here. This is a, definitely a military drama show that happens to have fan service. It would be like having a lot of fan service in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's not the point of it, but it's there. Versus a show like High School DxD, where that's definitely the point of it. Now, what exactly am I ranting about? This is probably going to be pedantic, and it doesn't really matter in the course of the show, and it could all be hand-waved away by saying, well, to get the optimal magic flow from the witch to the striker, you have to have direct skin contact, and wearing leg coverings around the base would increase scramble time and make interceptions either harder or occur closer to the base or populated areas, or yada yada yada. Okay, great. But we're never given a reason, except the obvious one that you can glean from the gratuitous panty shots that the show is chock full of. However, again, the really creepy part is that most of these girls are under 18. In fact, I believe Yoshika in the first series is 14, which is weird, and I would not have made that choice, but hey, apparently you can get away with that in Japan, and again, Amazon Prime, Funimation. It's not like you have to go on the dark web to find this series. It's pretty obvious to find it. I think everything is safe. I think. It's strange for sure, but I think we're all safe on that. But it's still creepy. But the point is, I just gave a bunch of explanations for why it would be there, but we're never given one. And I don't have an issue with fan service in anime, or indeed in general. In fact, my favorite show of all time, Black Sails, has ample amounts of nudity because it would make sense in a pirate stronghold in 1701 for there to be a lot of nudity because they don't really care. And Black Sails is one of my most favorite shows of all time, but not because of that. High School DxD, anime example, just mentioned it, has plenty of fan service, but most of it's coming from devils or the like, which are very seductive to begin with, and it's a good way to manipulate Issei. And in Code Geass, another one of my very favorite shows, there are skin-tight pilot uniforms, but there is some implied purpose for their use in the series, and they're universally worn by male and female pilots. By the way, if it wasn't obvious at this point, I have this scripted, but I'm going off script a lot, so it's a rant video. I'm not really worried about getting a whole bunch of information across, so I don't really care how off script I go. But point is, you can have fan service in anime, and it makes sense. And crucially, in all three of the examples that I just gave, they are not the main or a major factor in the show's substance. And the same is also true in Strike Witches. The fan service is not the point. But unlike the above series, it also doesn't make a whole lot of sense for it to be there in the first place. Okay, so let's go with some of the examples that I gave. If they need skin contact, assuming that that's the reason, which is the most likely, let's say for the sake of argument that's the reason, why can some of the witches wear stockings? Also, why can't they wear skirts or dresses, which cover the lower half but don't hinder skin contact with the striker unit? Furthermore, if scramble time is an issue, you live in a world where you can invent magic harnessing aircraft engines. You telling me you can't invent a quick release clasp for a skirt or something like that? I mean, it's like there's no reason that makes sense when you try to hand wave it away. Like, I don't know. I can come up with these explanations, and I can come up with reasons why they wouldn't work. Why can't the writers of the show? Now, of course, this is not an issue, a huge issue in the grand scheme of things, but considering we're trying to present these witches as military officers, I think some semblance of either an explanation as to why there are no leg coverings or some attempt to make them would be warranted. Otherwise, the panty shots are distracting and a little creepy, and doesn't add anything to the series, at least not anything of substance. I mean, we see Mina talking to her male superior officers without any leg coverings, for God's sakes, which is a little jarring, not only for the officers, assuredly, but also for a viewer. And I know it's nitpicky, and this is just a fan service anime, and it's not supposed to be taken that seriously because it's like a slice of life thing meets like military thing. It's not like a full-on like Band of Brothers situation, but being a military historian, especially of the era that this show is set in, it always kind of annoyed me that this happens. How? Why? Like, some explanation. Please. I'm okay with it being there, I think. Sorta, kinda, if you give me a reason for it. Now, I could continue to rant about this for a long time, but I'm not gonna. Because I know it's not very organized, and I know a lot of you probably really don't care. Which is fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to tell anyone how they should watch their anime. But I really just kind of wanted to lay out the issue that I had, the questions it made me ask, and pose the question to y'all. What do you think of fan service in Strike Witches? Does it make sense or not? Is it weird or not? Is it creepy or not? Should it be in there or not? I want to know what you all have to say. So let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. If you're a fan of the series, I would love to talk to you, because I think it's a good series. It's just got some things that I would have done differently. Don't forget to check out all my social media stuff that should be up on my YouTube channel's site by now, I hope. Anyway. I was gonna say it's still 2020, but by the time you're watching this, it'll probably be 2021, so Happy New Year. Everyone still don't be stupid, because we're still not out of the woods yet. So, might not be 2020 anymore by the time you're watching this, but definitely still be smart about it. Because I like having y'all here to listen to me, because it gives me something. As JCD Gatto says, it's an important part of my happiness. So, appreciate it. If you're still watching this, thank you. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be announced. If I do, I'll put it in the community section. Check that out, by the way. I every now and then I post on there, and I know that no one ever sees it because I've seen the analytics of it. I would like to do announcements through there so I don't have to clog up the videos like I'm doing right now. So be sure to check that out. That way, you don't have to listen to me talking about this here. But I think that's about all. I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one. Bye.